And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 279. So I hope you guys had a great day and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, we will be doing the Fantastic Four First Steps open spoiler discussion just in a little bit because you guys are probably wondering, where's Grey Poupée? He basically went to another person's stream to celebrate Ozzy Osbourne, right? The person who passed away basically 3 days before Hulk Hogan. I know there was the Hulk Hogan death that really shocked a lot of people because, I know how much of a big figure he had been in wrestling for many years. He was someone that I had heard of, even though I never cared for wrestling at all, because I thought wrestling was for homosexuals, honestly. So I never cared for wrestling at all. Like, I remember an episode of South Park where the dude shows the redneck in the bar what actual wrestling is, and the redneck replies to the guy, "Hey, sir, you better take your gay porn out of here." It's like, come on. The jokes write themselves. But no, we had Ozzy Osbourne pass. We had Hulk Hogan pass away. Then the one guy from the Cosby Show, he passed away.
Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yeah. Then another person on top of those three passed away. Another legendary singer. It's like, what the hell is going on? Like, people all just dropping like flies around here. What the literal fuck? But I know you, huge fan of wrestling. What did you think about Hulk Hogan passing away?
Well, Hulk Hogan was one of my childhood heroes, and it hit me hard because I grew up watching the guy, and he was just a big part of American culture for so many years. I mean, obviously, the last part of his life, there was a lot of controversy surrounding him about things that said in that video. And then obviously, he had the political takes where a lot of people on the left just wouldn't forgive him for that. Like, that was the icing on the cake for them. But for me, that one really hit me hard. And the thing about Hulk Hogan is that he transcended the business of wrestling. He was literally a global superstar. You could show a picture of a lot of celebrities that passed to people and they wouldn't know who it was. But you could show a picture of Hulk Hogan and almost everybody knows who Hulk Hogan was. And he changed the business for wrestling, not just once, but twice in his career with two different companies. So the fact that he's able to do that just showed the power that he had as a star. And like I said, it really hit me hard. He's going to be missed. He was, like I said, he was my hero, or one of my heroes.
Because he had the controversy of the whole N-word thing. I told people this before. I literally don't care. Like, I will straight up say that to Chaz backstream. I'll call him that thing straight to his face. Guys, I literally will not let words dictate how I do things, honestly. Yeah, there is some... people always confuse these two things, dude. People always confuse common courtesy with, like, respect. I don't just respect random people. I'm not going to be an asshole to you, but I don't respect you either, honestly, But if we're just, like, I just don't understand why people give so much credence to a word. I literally don't get it. I understand the historical context. I understand that. But it's literally... these same people will argue, we're not controlled by these people. We can do our own thing. All right, cool. And the word should mean nothing then. If we're going to use your logic, then by your logic, then this shouldn't mean anything. Also, keep in mind, this is a person that got baptized, apparently. Yeah. So all these people claim to be Christians.
You know what's interesting is that so many people had problems with what he said on that videotape. But I heard somebody else talk about this, saying they had no problems with the fact that he was banging his friend's wife on the video, but they had more problems with what he said. So
that's what I told you, man. People are legitimately retarded. Because there's another one, actually. Yeah. There's a wrestler I forgot out there. Oh, I forget his name, but I know the incident he did. He literally, I think he either beat up a domestic violence. He beat up his child or wife, or maybe both, or just the wife. Keep in mind, people want this person to be in GOAT wrestling contention. He beat up his wife severely, but Hulk Hogan said the N-word a few times. But one can go in the Hall of Fame and one can't, because actions of beating up a woman is better to get in the Hall of Fame in wrestling than a no-no word. What level of logic is that?
Thankfully, the WWE did make amends with Hulk Hogan after that. They did put him back into the Hall of Fame, because he was in the Hall of Fame prior to that, and they had removed him, and then they put him back in. And like I said, he was just a big part of American culture. Obviously, the last few years he got involved with politics. He also, like you said, he got baptized and whatnot.
Last time I saw him, he was booed when wrestling came back, when it was Netflix was bringing it over
It
to their platform.
was his last appearance
It was his last appearance. Yeah.
that they booed him. Now it doesn't make it. It's not surprising to me because
Also,
the
it
event
was in LA.
it was in L.A. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but like I said, he was a big part of American culture, and as one of my childhood heroes, it really hit me. But he will be missed, and thanks for the memories, Hulk.
Yeah, I remember there was a lady that Society Reviews quote tweeted because he knows his wrestling like you do, and he I think got the actual WrestleMania account to reply to him, and then the WrestleMania account was like, "Well, we don't like the actions taken by racists," and then Society basically said, "Oh, but like so wife beaters are okay with you guys." Crickets, straight up crickets, and that's how you know people have become so built into like narratives they try to push to you guys. And I'm not saying one or like either or is like right, but what do you think is gonna hurt someone more, calling random people, us random black people he probably never met in his entire life, the n-word, or a person who's his wrestling, he's 6 feet above 6 feet, over 200 pounds, looks like literally a character out of a Marvel comic book that would like do all those wrestling competitions, punching his wife? Which one do you think is worse? Just if I just want to tell you both scenarios, which one's worse? Oh, pretty sure it'd be the one who's physically assaulting his wife. I'm pretty sure that would be a
You would
lot worse.
think.
You would think, right? Absolutely insane. Like John Cena, he didn't say anything. I know The Rock did, and then I know that they did a kind of a tribute for Hulk Hogan today.
Yeah,
I
they
think I
did.
saw that.
Yeah, they did one on Friday, and they actually did one again tonight for Raw. They had a different video playing for him, a different tribute. So, uh, you can't deny the
Oh yeah,
accomplishments that he had. So,
we had. There's been wrestlers that have literally offed family members, but
yeah.
that could be in the Hall of Fame. But oh my God, he said the N word. Oh no.
What's funny is that there are people who are arguing for that particular wrestler to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and yet they'll go after Hulk Hogan. That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I literally don't get it. Or like today there was a scenario that happened that got announced. It was basically white people in some state, I forget which area of the world, are gonna actually straight up build their own land, and the rule is no blacks, allegedly. But then the media was like, "Oh, these people are all racist and stuff like that." And then it was brought up that black people are gonna do the same thing. Another group of black people are gonna do the exact same thing that white people did. Was actually, built their own land, and they're gonna have no whites. So why is only the white one getting talked about without the black one? I don't care if people do it with their own money. You have that much money, do whatever the fuck you want. But like, if we're gonna give attention to one of them, why can't both get the attention? Or today, when there was an active shooting for something and CNN straight up called this person a white male. It's literally not true. I mean, that looks white to you. You need different eyes.
Oh, yeah, I love that. They're like, well, he was possibly white.
It's like when I told Chaz this joke when we were playing League. I was like, "Yeah, my ex-girlfriend is kind of pregnant." He's like, "What the fuck is kind of pregnant? What is a kind of white guy? I don't even know what that's supposed to mean." But Bellman says the Hulk thing was very, very disappointing to me. The two I really like mainly are Randy Orton and John Cena. Never heard of them do anything racist like that. You would never know, man. You never know.
And I get what I get what he's saying, and I'm not condoning anything that Hulk said during that time. I'm just trying to think of it from a human being perspective. At that particular time, Hulk has admitted that he was in one of his lowest points of his life. He even was thinking of suicide at that particular time, and so it just is what it is. We're all human beings. We all make mistakes, and a couple years ago, he got baptized, and the way I see it, if the good Lord can forgive him, why can't I? And that doesn't take away from his accomplishments. You've said this before, MSK, that two things can be true at once. He could have done a lot of bad things, but you can't deny what his accomplishments were either.
Mhm.
And so, you know, I like to hope that he got that when he says that he got right, that he actually did get right. He did ask for forgiveness. That's good enough for me. I'm going to take him at face value at that and
Mhm.
hope that he did. And like I said, I'm going to remember the good things.
Yeah, it was very similar to when I had a lot of the deaths last year. I think it was last year, the year before hit. You had Jason David Frank was Power Rangers,
Yeah.
Tommy, that one. I had Kazuki Takahashi, that was the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! He died saving people from getting drowned. Like, that's crazy. Then you had Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball. I don't know how influential that's been on people. He passed away. All these big people passing away. It's just getting a little crazy. I'm gonna leave. That's why I gotta be known as a legend these days. I'm gonna just brand myself as a legend and just say I did these great things. I'm like, I scaled Mount Everest and I dove and I swam with great white sharks around me. Just have to say just egregious shit to be a legend.
But the thing was with these particular celebrity passings
Mhm,
this week or this past week with Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk
mhm.
Hogan. I mean, we're talking about people that, like you said, were legends. I mean, these
Yeah,
are people that literally changed the businesses that they were in.
like for
And
wrestling with Hulk Hogan case,
yeah, and
arguably if he didn't
Ozzy
do what he
with,
did, it wouldn't be
yeah,
here.
I mean, yeah, literally when they passed away, it was the end of an era for those that the era that they came from. I mean, that was your connection to those eras, and they're gone. So yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, I remember when man Paul Walker passed away in Fast and Furious. I
Gosh,
love
yeah,
those movies growing up. That one was like, oh wow, he's never gonna be here again. Jeez. And then hearing Universal is gonna try to make him a deep fake for the final movie, it's like, all right, just it's like when a studio does 5 good things, they do that one bad thing. You're like, okay, I literally hate your guts. I actually literally hate you.
I
Good,
mean,
but think.
if
Oh, go
they
ahead.
do it, at least do it right, but only on a very, very limited basis. Don't do anything like where you put him in the full movie or anything like that. Something very, very small, kind of like what they did with Carrie Fisher in Rogue One, where she just showed up like right at the end.
Yeah,
And you could get away with that. So, like, if they had Carrie Fisher say like through the whole movie, I think that kind of would have been disrespectful. People would have been like, but just that she was there, just like with a quick image.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're
Oh,
fine with.
also today, there's been so much backlash over the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad. Like, Sydney Sweeney, obviously very attractive, and then you had these Looney Tunes, basically a gay guy with tits, and a bunch of other like crazy cat ladies being like, "This company is pro being Nazis." What? I I truly think people just read things into something that aren't there because they're so mentally deranged, or they are so much involved in the internet for like watching content like straight up potentially 10 hours a day. They're not even living life. Like, I swear people literally read things into things that aren't there because that's actually brain rotted. When you can't when basically anytime you see something, you're just linking it to that. I do it for when I do that, I do it for fun. I don't actually mean that. These people are like, man, Sydney Sweeney's promoting blonde hair, blue eyed white women. Yes, that's what she is.
Yeah, I know.
I don't
Look,
get it.
like they're overthinking this. She's selling jeans, period, and
It's a
she's
gene.
using sex appeal to sell the jeans.
And they're
What
not even like
we're
revealing.
Yeah, we're acting like, or shouldn't say we. They are acting like that's never been done in commercials before. That's always been done in commercials before. I mean, how many beer commercials have you seen where there are people running around
Yeah.
in bikinis and stuff? I mean, come
Hmm.
on. It's not uncommon to use sex appeal to sell a product.
Oh, also the guy that got caught at that Coldplay incident, he said he might be suing um the astronaut that was there. He said he might be suing it. It's like, yeah, I mean, good lord, it's crazy.
Well,
It's
yeah, it's because they took what should have been a private moment and made it
yeah.
very public. I'm like, okay, dude, first off, you already screwed up to begin with, but then you were stupid about it and you took her somewhere public. If you truly wanted a private moment where you couldn't get caught, then you should have got like a hotel in the middle of nowhere. Instead,
God, yeah.
he instead he turned around and showed what an ass he was in front of
Mhm.
everybody.
It's so weird when people say, "Man, this is supposed to be a private moment." Well, to be fair, you're already cheating on your wife, so there's already risk there involved. Then it's like, what's crazy is this probably was going on for a long time,
Oh
and the
yeah,
only
yeah.
way they were going to get caught was that he went to a concert with hundreds and hundreds of people there. It's like, it's so crazy how people don't even think these plans through and they don't get caught because of just dumb luck. And then that's the one incident. That incident has actually been just as big as that Haktua meme
Oh,
fucking chick.
and you
Like,
know
this
what?
one is taking her by storm. It's actually really funny. People putting like Kevin Feige and Marvel there. People saying, "Oh, this should have been the MC we used to have."
What I
It's been
what I
hilarious.
love is the one that they had at the Phillies game, where they had the two mascots there, and as soon as the camera hit them, they started disappearing. I thought that was hilarious. What I want to know is, or I shouldn't say what I want to know. I think that if they hadn't reacted the way that they did,
Oh yeah.
I don't think anybody would have noticed. I I really don't. It was their reaction that caused people to say, "Hey, why are they acting that way?" And then they went and Googled them and found out.
Good. Like, I remember there was one someone had up as a meme of the Pacers and the NBA trophy. I was like, that's too soon. You guys literally ain't shit. And then Kate. Oh, did you see the Sophie Cunningham thing where accidentally sat on a guy's face for
Oh
like
yeah,
2 seconds
he
because
didn't budge.
he won't be crying sexual assault? And then someone put a Rick and Morty meme of, I think, Morty putting his tongue in some ass and swirling his tongue.
Well,
Oh, also, why are they using Angel Reese on a NBA 2K26 cover? That's terrible. No one would buy that. She literally is bad at the game. Like, she's actually just abhorrent.
personally, I think they did it just to slight or to backhand Caitlin Clark. I mean that's literally why I think they did it because Caitlin Clark was rookie of the year, right? And Angel
Mhm.
Reese was in the running. I think this was their way of saying, okay, well let's give it to Angel Reese now, and let's show that she's just as good as
Mhm.
Caitlin Clark when she's clearly not.
Yeah.
I mean, she gets
Mhm.
like 15 rebounds a game, but all of them are off her own missed shots.
And then the other part to this, which is, a lot of people speculate all those hits she's taken for the past couple of years probably have been what has done her, what's the weird, groin areas. It's so weird, hamstrings or groin area, to make sure that she's not able to play. Because, like, also the fever brought her back way too soon when she was already out for a few weeks. They brought her back
Yeah.
like 2 to 3 weeks before she was supposed to be back, and then they brought her back, and then she was basically the same reaction that Tyrese Halliburton had when he fell apart for his Achilles heel blowing up. She was not having it that day. She was crying. She was rubbing her thighs a lot, and she's out now again. It's so weird because I feel like she won't be hitting an actual stride, Caitlin Clark, to win a bunch of trophies until a couple of years. I think it's going to be a few
Oh
years of
yeah, yeah.
hardship. And then once she actually wins the first one, I feel like she's not going to lose anytime soon. I will say this: put Bronny in the WNBA, he would be like Michael Jordan times 5. That wouldn't
You
be
know,
fair, but it'd be funny.
personally, I think she was brought back because they were wanting to sell tickets. It was that simple. I wouldn't doubt they were like, "Hey Doc, is she ready?
Mhm.
You know, come on, she's ready. Let's clear her. Let's get her out there." Because let's face it, without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA it's not a league that draws attention to it without
Yeah.
a star like Caitlin Clark. I'm not saying
Even the
she's
even the All-Star numbers were down
yeah,
compared to last year. I know someone was like, "But there's still millions watching." Yeah, but it went from like 3.5 million to 2.2. That's a pretty big decline in viewership from her being there versus not being there. And they're saying, "Oh, we're going to go on strike if we don't make any more money." You actually owe the men money. We got to put that. You actually owe the commissioner who fucking runs the league. You owe him money. I don't even shit. People know I do not do this for companies, but you actually owe the company money. You provide no value. You generate no at least positive word of mouth of the league. I mean, only Caitlin Clark has generated like legitimately positive word of mouth of the league. All the other players just generate trash. Honestly, they speak very just. I'm not saying media trained because they're not. They're just like unlikable. You know, anytime they're interviewed, they're just unlikable, just TWATS waffles. That's what they are.
Yeah, they just don't draw attention to the league. I'm not saying that people don't watch and that it doesn't have a fan base. Of course, it's got a fan base, or it still wouldn't be here after as long as it's been. But Caitlin Clark has brought in a whole new group of people to watch it, and the longer she's away, the more of those people will tune out. I mean, I think they'll come back when she's playing, but they're not going to watch week to week without her there. She brings eyes to the product. She puts butts in the seats. I mean, she's a star.
I would say she would be a player that girls will see many years from now and look up to that person. Very similar to like a Kobe Bryant when I was watching basketball. Like that, you legitimately have a generational player here that could actually be a pillar to building something good. But there's always going to be the notion of the WNBA, which is, I say, a lot of women's sports. There's just this lack of care inherently in your brain. It's like, oh, it's women's basketball. It's like, I don't care. Like that's the average. But can you change that? But there has to be a player like Caitlin Clark that can change that. But does she even want to do that? Because you talk to players like that, even in league, like esports, you talk to players like that, all this narrative bullshit. They're like, huh? They're like, I'm just here to play. I don't even care. I just think they don't care about all the other like, intricacies that we care about. I don't know if I don't know if she wants to do that. I don't know if she wants to build the league. But, because like if she ever did retire, let's say she retired in like 10 years from now, all those I think a bunch of the viewers now are just Caitlin Clark fans. Those aren't like fans of the actual NBA. I only watched her games. I didn't watch anybody else's games. Only watched her games. I didn't care what the other teams were doing. When she was out, I checked in a little bit. The players on her team this year are definitely a lot better than the players they had last year. But what sucks is because she was good last year. Her teammates weren't. Now her teammates are a little bit better. She's out. You can't win in life. You can't win, especially if you're a white girl. If you're a black girl, maybe this would work. Who knows? All right, let me get into this. All right, now we're going to have some real fun here, guys. Oh, God. Because Bob has to get out of here in about an hour-ish time frame, so about 8:45, 8:50 my time, because he has work stuff. God damn, a Mexican working, and he's legal. See, that's crazy. So you like your drinks with a side of ice, right? You should definitely tell that to your Felipe friends at work. The ones that clean the sheets, be like, yeah, I love my drinks with a side of ice. They're like, what? They just point to your drink right there. It's like,
no, you see, because I'm half white, they all think that I'm white, and then all my white family to them, I'm Hispanic. So it's like, it's funny the way that works. Because like to my Hispanic family, I'm the white boy, but my white family. I've got my mama's color from what they say.
It's so crazy how people keep saying things on the internet, and I'm sitting there going like, did you ever interact with anybody in life? I don't even understand how some of these people have went through life, but I do think I understand it though. There have been a lot of this generation growing up that have never seen like extended family, cousins, or anything, and they just only grown up with like maybe their parents, grandparents, and then people in their life through like maybe public school that have basically just growing up with the internet has warped these people's minds, like straight up destroyed them. I'm actually very glad I grew up in the time period I did. Walter says, before we get to the review, as a regular, I know this conversation is par for the course, but I can only imagine how confused a new viewer is hearing Caitlin Clark WNBA talk for a Fantastic Four spoiler discussion stream. Okay. That's interesting. I talk about white women, so that's, I guess you could say, an equalizer there, which is an actual movie trilogy with Denzel Washington. It's a pun I just did there. No, I don't know if the Fever will do good. I don't know. She's gonna be out, and keep in mind, she was like the main reasons why that org even won jack shit last year. So if it's one of those like at some point it's gonna collapse unless she comes back. Like they in the playoffs, probably going out in the first round, or are they make playoffs? Who knows? But Sophie Cunningham, man, if Sophie, if you could marry me, you don't have to sign a prenup.
I thought you gave up on women.
To be fair, even if
you retired from women,
She said, like, if I asked Sophie right now, would you marry me? But we sign a prenup and, you know, you keep all your money. What would I be getting out of her money? She makes like $80K a year. She makes like, that is like an engineer or some shit.
It's still a lose-lose for her because she'd be marrying you.
Wow. That's what Bob got out of that. He's like, I don't care about Sophie's stuff. It's just her marrying you. That's the L. That'd be a W, actually. Damn, you can tell her fucking pussy just stank.
I mean, it would be a W for you, but it would definitely be an L for her.
That in the black community, that's what we call coming up. Good Lord. When she sat on that dude's face, you could tell her fucking pussy just mega stank after running up and down the court sweating. Ugh. That person was loving it. That's gross. That camera, you're weird. That's sick. She literally got her vagina juice on you. So, speaking of getting vagina juice on a spaceship that we didn't see happen, if this was a rated R movie, dude, I guarantee we would have saw her actual hole and she blew that thing out.
I can't believe that was the transition into Fantastic Four.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Wow.
All right, give me one moment. We're going to start it right now.
Let's
oh, my God. I hate sex with men and women. All right. It's Tuesday. Oh, I forgot it's Monday.
You said you hate sex with men?
And women. I'm actually a succubus. I actually eat women too. Oh, God. All right. So, I know people are watching going like, man, you are just going in ham tonight. Yeah, that's what I do. I make sure to go in ham. I think that's pretty much it. All good. All set up. So, let's have some fun. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Fantastic Four First Steps. So, is this movie the best MCU movie released post Endgame? So, I just watched the Fantastic Four First Steps, and what's really interesting about this movie is that typically when I hear this is the best MCU movie released since the last one, I always draw a red flag into that because, guys, that was a thing being said since like phase 2, I think, honestly. So anytime I hear that, I'm always thinking like, okay, you were invited to the premiere, you got your goodie bag, and you pretty much feel obligated to say something nice about the movie because you got invited to it. Which, you know, as human beings, weirdly in that fashion, I could understand it. I don't agree with it because that makes you a disingenuous shill, but naturally, us humans give gratitude in weird ways like that. But I just want to let you guys know, guys, I'm black, and I actually hope you all fucking die. All right, well, time for a disgusting way of losing out on being a man.
I beg your pardon?
What the fuck? All right, so let's have some fun. Let's go into this right now. We're going to laser in on Bob, and we're going to make him happy tonight. Hey, everyone, I am such a black guy. We're going to win. Hearing of good reviews is a red flag to you? Also true, but I don't like any of you guys, you clout-chasing bastard fucks. I'm joking. This is entertainment. All right. Being fully serious here. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Fantastic Four First Steps, the 37th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And is this movie the best MCU movie released post Endgame? So every time a brand new MCU movie comes out, we hear of the usual lingo for Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. This is the best Marvel movie since the last one. Oh my God. Galactus was so big in my wife, she blew multiple loads in his face. Pedro Pascal stretched my wife out so good, it left her eyes rolled back like a slot machine. Vanessa Kirby's holes were used so well, it blew out a baby. You'll hear things like that, right? But I've heard these type of reviews for Marvel movies forever at this point. I mean, pretty much since like phase 1, you know, and I understand people get invited to watch new movies early and they kind of feel like they have to say something nice about it because they were invited. It's a weird way us humans kind of, you know, show gratitude. I understand it. I don't like it, but I understand it. And, you know, post Endgame since 2019, and I'll even say this here, not every movie in phases 1 through 3 were good. I mean, you guys know there was some awful trash in those first 3 phases, but there have been way much more trash released from phase 4 to phase 5 than those 3 phases could ever offer, honestly. I.e., The Eternals, the worst MCU movie I think ever made on this planet, next to like Thor: Love and Thunder, also one of the worst MCU movies ever made. So when people were saying this was the best MCU movie post Endgame, I was like, oh no, that's a red flag. I've heard that before. And I'll be honest here, it's actually very good. It's a pretty good MCU movie overall. It kind of felt like watching a MCU movie from phases 1 through 3. Now, I said this in my spoiler-free review. This is kind of a movie that feels like it was supposed to be released between phases 1 through 3. I understand why that couldn't happen because they didn't have rights to the characters and they only bought Fox back in 2017. And as you guys know, with like legalities and everything, they probably weren't actually allowed to use them until multiple years later. So originally, the man who directed the Spider-Man Tom Holland trilogy, John Watts, was supposed to be director of this movie. He stepped down because he said he felt burnt out after directing those 3 movies. And looking at what Matt Shackman did for the movie, thank God John Watts did not direct this movie. He only did Spider-Man No Way Home good, in my opinion. The other 2 were a Homecoming, really, really hit or miss in some areas, and Far From Home, well, that was just a pile of trash, honestly. What a waste of a fucking film, honestly. So I'm glad John Watts did not get selected to direct this movie. I feel like Matt Shackman did an amazing job on the movie. So as you guys know, this for me, for comic books, I don't know that much about the Fantastic Four, honestly. I don't even know that much about Doctor Doom. And I like to let people know that because people are like, you're the comic book guy. Yeah, I am. But I don't know everything, guys, obviously. And this is a group of characters that, you know, I first watched the first Fox movie back in 2005. People were like, what about the previous one? I never saw the 1994 release one. I just didn't care. People said, I literally just don't care. Like, there's movies you guys tell me to watch, and I just don't. I don't care to watch a really shitty movie released in 1994? The year I was born.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So the very first one, remember, was you had like Jessica Alba and all Chris Evans like that. I don't even think those 2 movies were good. I think like there's some aspects of them that were good, but they were like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was better. The Fox first 2 X-Men movies were better. I know you guys saw Blade. I never saw Blade, but you guys think the first Blade movies are better. Fantastic Four was kind of like the bastard stepchild of all of those. No one really liked those, honestly. Then you had Four Stick, which is the fan-made term, came out in 2015. I literally saw Michael B. Jordan casted in that because I was watching people's videos back then before I became a content creator myself. And I was like, I'm out. I literally just from that, I was like, I'm out. I'm literally done. I'm actually just straight up done. So then when Kevin Feige announced that they were making this movie in the Disney Investor Day back in 2020, when we were like all on lockdown and he had to release a bunch of trailers to have people, you know, subscribe to Disney Plus, I was like, I'm optimistic. And then around Valentine's Day, we got the cast announced last year. So Valentine's Day last year, the cast was announced, and Pedro Pascal, you know, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, Joseph Quinn. I'll be honest here, even after watching the movie, I think you said similar thing in your review and on Twitter too. I just don't buy Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. I'm sorry. I tried. I was watching this movie and I was like, damn, if this was John Krasinski or even the guy they had previously before him, not the Fan Forsted guy, the guy, but the original guy from the first 2, amazing. That would have been a slam dunk casting. I just can't buy him as Reed Richards. I'm sorry. I just can't. I was really trying hard. I was like,
I do think he was the weakest casting choice in the film.
Yeah,
and I will say that he did better than I expected. I thought he was fine.
Well, your floor was already right here.
Yeah. You know, I was fine with him. The biggest issue that I had was I just couldn't buy him as this super genius. Some of the stuff that he had in the family scenes and stuff like that I was cool with, but it was just tough for me to buy him as this super genius that he had all the answers and was able to figure all that out.
He didn't feel confident enough.
You know what? That's part of the problem too. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but like I said, he was fine. The rest of the casting of the Fantastic Four, I was good with. I liked Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch. I liked Moss-Bachrach as the thing during the scene where he was cooking, I just kept
Oh yeah.
I just kept expecting him to say, "Yes, chef," from
Vanessa
the
Kirby.
bear, because he was in the bear.
Yeah.
So I kept expecting that. Vanessa Kirby to me though was the highlight of the casting.
I feel
I
like
really thought she was great as Sue Storm.
But I felt like
was
with her
perfect.
casting, I was never when they announced that last year on Valentine's Day, I was like, okay, Vanessa Kirby's gonna be Sue Storm because given Disney, Marvel, they probably could have casted fucking Precious to be Sue Storm. And people were like, oh, but it doesn't matter. All that matters is the actor, bro. It's like, okay, sure, guy with 20 followers on Twitter that probably lives in his mom's basement, blowing your fucking dad. But Vanessa Kirby, I never felt like was gonna do a bad job because I had seen her in other movies, and I was like, she definitely. She's a fine actress anyway. She has a lot of range. I've seen her in so many things. I was like, that's going to be a good casting there. When I was watching it, I was like, okay, the aspects of Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards that I liked overall was his attentive to basically give her time in that scene where she's having the kid. I think that's where he really shined at. Other than that,
I actually liked his chemistry with Vanessa Kirby. It was the scenes where, like I said, he was supposed to be the super genius
by himself,
that I had trouble buying. But the scenes that he had with the family, I really liked. That's why I say he was fine for me. I didn't think he was the best choice. But to be fair to Pedro Pascal, a lot of people turned down the role of Reed Richards, so he wasn't like the first choice.
He was the seventh choice.
But
yeah.
So he was already going to be scrutinized because he's in so many stuff nowadays. I mean, right now he has 3 films out right now. What is it that Materialist movie, the one Eddington, with and now the Fantastic Four. So he's got he's got 3 films out. Plus the Last of Us just hit season 2 had just released not too long ago. So it was going to be scrutinized, but he was fine. I didn't hate it. It wasn't my favorite choice. I thought he was the weakest of them, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, him and the family dynamic really worked. It felt like
I thought that was good. And like I said, his chemistry with Vanessa Kirby was good.
So like the end of the movie, when I'm really looking towards to I want to really get behind this guy when I'm watching the movie, and he doesn't have that heroic-ish level scene because like most of your movies, the very end of the movie, they're having, even if they can't win against the bad guy, like Iron Man back in Infinity War when he's fighting Thanos, knowing he can't beat him, he's having this heroic, epic moment. And I felt like when it was just Pedro going up against Galactus to just stop him from getting to where he was trying to get to, I felt like he didn't have any epic moments. Because I also think they didn't really have him utilize his powers the best. Like, why didn't he, with his stretchy powers, put his entire body around Galactus or block him? He just felt like he was just like an average noob at a superhero.
I thought that was the case though with all of the superhero powers. I don't think that their powers were showcased the way I would have liked, especially as a team unit. And I would have liked to have seen a much bigger and better team battle from them, because I was expecting that, being the Fantastic Four. They worked together as a unit, and they showed some of it, but I thought it was lacking compared to what I was hoping for.
And it was spread out throughout the movie because there were some scenes where it worked very well.
Yeah.
Some scenes where it's just not present. Like you would think in the third act. I feel like the reason why people kind of lowered their scores or grade for the movie, I think it came from the third act, because throughout the entire movie, they're working together, fine. They get along, fine. Their dynamic is fine. And then in the third act of the movie, they don't really come together as a team to stop him together. It's more like it's just the Sue Storm show. Because they use the Thing and Human Torch, and they launch themselves at Galactus to save Reed Richards, but then they're just out of the fight completely. And I was like, I feel like the only thing Matt needs to work on is having them as a unit together fight. I feel like if that is complete, if he can get that down, if he's ever going to direct a new movie for them, probably going to direct a sequel for them, I feel like he'll really shine. Because the other issues I want to get to before we get to the positives is, I know people have criticized the pacing, and I know where you guys are criticizing it from. So the setup is really good. I feel like the setup is there. They let you know how the world works and everything. But it's
that first 10 minutes where they're showing that montage, I thought was probably my favorite part of the movie, because
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that 60s vibe and how it
Mhm.
felt like it was like a 60s program that was
Mhm.
that they were leading into and everything. So I really enjoyed that. I thought it was cool that it brought you up to speed with the where, like you said, where how the world functioned, where their
With an
place
origin
was in the
story.
world. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that was great. And then it lost some momentum until we got to Galactus in the space sequence, which was my other favorite scene in the movie. I thought the space scene was pretty cool.
I felt a little different. So I feel like that issue, I'll just agree, but I feel like that issue played into after they figure out what Galactus wants to do. Because I feel like after they figured out what Galactus wants to do and when they're back on Earth, well, their Earth, I feel like it just kind of drags all the way up until he gets there. And it's basically the second part of the second act all the way into the third act. It just drags. And it's like the movie's an hour and 55 minutes. They could have easily shaved off 20 minutes when it came to that part of the act, and you would have missed nothing. Like, guys, they did a great job explaining the movie and everything they wanted to do in the plot. It's nothing even contrived. And then we're just sitting here waiting for Galactus to come, like the Saiyans from Dragon Ball and the Saiyan arc. Oh, they're past Jupiter. It's like, okay, you could have edited this out. We didn't need to know every month Galactus is going to be here. We know he's coming. Just literally fast forward us to the moment where all these pillars are built, because you said we have to build these pillars to transport this Earth to another place where you can't feed on it. Well, then just cut that out. I don't need to see that, because they didn't even really show the dread of people anymore in that moment. That's why I feel like the third act is just a little bit weaker compared to the rest of the movie. Because the rest of the movie to me is completely fine, but the pacing of that moment to the final moment of the final battle was like, I was sitting in my movie theater like this. I was like, I'm not kidding you guys. I straight up did this. And people were like, what's that guy doing? I was bored. I was like, can we hurry this up? Because they already explained everything. I was
See,
like,
and that was me. And that was me after probably about 15 minutes into the film, up until we got to Galactus. That's when I got a little bit bored. And then once we got into the space sequence, that's when I really started tuning in to, or I shouldn't say tuning in, but when I really felt
your brain just went
engaged
off
with the movie. Because at that point I really felt invested in it. So yeah, there were some pacing issues, but yeah, overall, I thought it was still entertaining, even with those pacing issues.
So Silver Surfer, the female Silver Surfer they use, I feel like it's just so like, I didn't like the decision when they announced it. I don't like it now. People are gonna be like, well, why? Well, there's no reason why Norrin Rad shouldn't be here. I feel like if we're gonna use this movie with this kind of story, this should be his. There's no reason to have her in general. And I know people said, well, she's what works for this story. After watching the movie, I don't agree with that. They could have just used Norrin Rad. Why didn't we use the better character? I still don't understand why we had to use her, because she alters herself anyway. And keep in mind, he would have done the same thing, but I would have felt more connected with Norrin Rat than her. I don't care for this version of this character. I literally don't.
Agreed.
She's actually worthless.
For me, it was a preference thing. When I was watching this, I was just like, I prefer the Norrin Rad character. I don't, and I will say this: I actually think Julia Garner did a fine job with the role. It was not an issue with the acting or anything like that at all. It was just, for me personally, just an issue that I couldn't connect with that character. It would, because I in my mind I kept thinking this should have been Norrin Rad. That's what I was thinking. And yeah, I couldn't get into her character. And again, it wasn't the performance. I thought she was fine. I mean, if you were going to go that route, I don't think necessarily another actress would have done better. I thought she was fine with it.
But
I actually like her as an actress. I thought she was great in Ozark. So
like, it's one of those decisions where you're sitting there watching it going like, why did we get to deserve this? Like, I'm sitting there thinking like, and it's not the director's fault. I know this is something Disney higher ups probably put in there anyway. I know it's not Matt's fault. I just don't understand, because not just even that I don't like this version of the character being there over Norrin Rad or Silver Surfer, she doesn't really do all that much in the movie. It feels like it's like one of those MacGuffin plot devices everyone talks about. She's literally just a straight up plot device that just moves the plot. There's no actual worthwhile care for her. Like, and people said that was the same aspect for the Fantastic Four. I cared more about that baby than I did about her. Even when her backstory was revealed, it's like, this should just be Norrin Rad's. Why are we doing this with this weird bitch? I literally couldn't care she existed. I was sitting there going like, wow, I just get a downgrade of a character for no reason, and it doesn't even benefit the story. It did nothing for it.
I did, like I said, I liked the whole space sequence though. So the scene where she was chasing the ship, I thought that was pretty
That was
cool.
cool. That was very
Yeah,
good.
I thought that was really cool, and how they had to, how they got her basically stuck in a black hole, and I thought that was cool. No, because they say that she's going to be able to get out. They were not going to be able to hold her.
Oh, I don't doubt
and it was
that.
going to be long enough for them to get away. But the sequence where she's chasing them, I thought was really cool because they're like, "Oh, I got her!" Then here she comes again. So yeah, I didn't have a problem necessarily that with her personally. It was more a preference for me that I would have preferred the Norton Rad character.
Oh, and I'll say this. This is one of the best MCU movies with CGI. I feel like this movie's CGI really stood above. I mean, just the way Galactus looks is phenomenal. Like, and the way that they introduce him to, I feel like looking back now, Kevin Feige probably realizes what he should have probably been the next big bad of this phase, because you look at how Kang was introduced. Look at now, then contrast that with like when Kang was first introduced in Loki season 1, and to be fair, it's hard to judge because on a TV show we don't really see in a big crowd, or like when Kang is introduced in Ant-Man 3. And you contrast that with how Galactus is introduced in this movie. You really do feel that, oh God, this guy's really fucking powerful. How are they stopping this guy? That was introduced great. I feel like the depth and weight behind his character was really there. Like, oh, also you said origin story a while ago. This movie also did something really good. How you do origin stories. You don't have to fully show the origin story. All you have to do is do like a mashed up sizzle reel and have a person kind of narrate it. That's all you got to do. Super simple. You know how they got their powers. World's established. Let's just get on going. And I feel like that is going to be the way moving forward with superhero movies now.
And I hope so, because I thought it was very effective the way they did it. And what I liked was we've already seen that origin twice before. We didn't have to see it again. Like you see them going up on the ship in the sizzle reel. But since it's all supposed to be from footage on Earth, we don't actually see them getting hit with the cosmic rays again or anything. You see them go up, and the next thing you know, you see them in the ocean, and they're like, yeah, but now they're different. They're back. Something happened to them up there. And
it's narrated to the point where the dialogue is cohesive. The person isn't saying some bullshit. It's straight to the point. That's all you need. And I feel like, you like Zack Snyder. He did a good thing with BVS when he just showed Bruce's origin. Right, flash, 2 scenes. That's it. Let's keep going. I think BVS did a good job of that. And I know this movie maybe have looked at that and went, this is actually very good. Because, people just don't want to be bored with origin stories. I like them. I think they're cool to loving the character, but I understand different audiences like different things as tastes change over the years. And I feel like this movie did a great job of establishing, hey, they got their powers this way, and they're heroes and they're beloved and they're established going into it. So,
but I don't think it's necessarily that the issue is where people don't like origin stories or anything like that. It's the fact that we've already seen it twice relatively recently.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking, we saw it, in the mid 2000s, and we saw it again in the mid 2010s. We're talking just 10 years ago we saw their origin, and now we're going to see it again. So because
also,
of
Google,
that,
people could literally just Google the origin story if they really cared that much.
Yeah, honestly. We didn't need to see it again, and I think they've been pretty good about that for a lot of the stuff lately. I mean, they did the same thing with Spider-Man. Superman, they kind of just briefly touched on it. So we've begun to see more of that, and that's cool. You mentioned BVS. So yeah.
Oh, also, so basically after that, the movie starts off with Sue confirming she's pregnant. Now, as you guys know how sex goes, you usually put your thing in their thing and you unleash the liquid in them, and then they end up having to pee on a stick, and if it's blue, it's pregnant. If it's red, well, you get no child support and you deserve to run out the room. So basically, the crux of the story is that this baby is Franklin Richards. And if you guys know anything about Marvel Comics, Franklin Richards is, he would essentially make Wanda look like a nothing burger, given power strength. If you're just going off of like just feats and everything, that's why actual like comic book reading for Franklin Richards. Franklin Richards is by far and away one of the most disgusting mutants to ever exist in Marvel comic books. Truly a powerful character. That is very firmly established here in the movie. And Galactus is like, basically, you can give me your kid, the planet can stay. They're like, no, which is what they should do. And this movie, I'm not political, but this movie was very, very pro-life. Very pro-life. No, we're keeping this baby around. It's my baby. My baby. No, Galactus. And Galactus was like, okay, well, I'm eating your planet. And then people on Earth, rightfully so, when they hear about it, they're like, you should have gave your baby up for save us. But they're like, no, there's another way. That's what being a superhero is. Not just doing something retarded, hoping that, the bad is going to get eclipsed by it. No, they did the right thing. They saved the kid. They found another way to do it. That's what superheroes
not just saved by doing it the way they did. They saved not only the kid, but they saved everybody else. Yeah. So, I mean, it was done in a way that, like you said, yeah, that's what superheroes are supposed to do. You're supposed to find the bigger way, not sacrifice any life. I mean, sure, they make sacrifices of themselves, but they don't sacrifice other people at their expense. They find a better way. So yeah,
I thought that was good. And then there was the moment where Reed Richards, he said something where he says, I have to basically think of all the negative situations and then blah, blah, blah. And she legitimately thought he was like contemplating sacrificing their kid. To be fair, that was another little minor issue. There's no way she should have thought that, because he was like, no, we're not sacrificing him. I don't know why that was even in there. And then they had Vanessa Kirby's character, Sue Storm, do this awesome speech about what happened to her and her brother. And that led into, I feel like the cohesiveness of the film really, really played out together. Each part really kind of playing off each other. I do want to tackle on something else that I know a lot of people are going to want us to go over. Oh my God. So at the end of the movie, they devised this plan where these towers were supposed to transport Earth to somewhere else so it doesn't get eaten by Galactus. Well, Silver Surfer comes and take out those towers. So then devise another plan. It's like, okay, we're going to have Galactus get into this position so we can essentially launch him into a dark hole or whatever, okay, away from his ship where he won't be able to, get powered back up again. Fine. Galactus comes and he realizes, wait a minute, because most villains would be kind of dumb and just fall for that. He didn't fall for that. He's like, wait a minute, they're definitely playing a trick on me. Then he goes and actually finds the baby. Then Sue Storm, I like this from a mother point of view, but I get why people would call it a girl boss moment. She herself straight up pushes Galactus back through the rest of the third act as Reed Richards falls out, as the Thing and Human Torch retardedly launch themselves into him. I don't know why they would do that. And then they're just out. That's what's the third act, a little bit of problems with the actual way they could have finished the fight off. Then she herself exudes way more power and then fully pushes him back. So eventually he does get into that black hole portal they were trying to send him through. She herself passes out. And I know a lot of people went, is she that strong where she can do that? I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know the power level of Sue Storm all that much. I really don't. But my only real issue with it is, why did every other character act like such a retard when fighting him when they could have fought as a unit together? And then that would have alleviated Sue from not using that much power. And I felt like the emotional moment afterwards where literally I was like, she's not dead. Everyone knew, you've seen enough that she's not dead. But the emotional moment that came after that, where the baby's crying and the baby gives her enough power to come back to life, because she legitimately was dead. I mean, she was fucking dead.
Right.
But the baby brought her back to life. That was a great moment. But if they had fought together as a unit, cohesively against Galactus, I feel like that would have made the scene a lot stronger, because it would have really nailed the nail in the coffin. This is a family and we fight together. But it was so scattered. I was like, I just don't get why he went with that direction for the movie. I don't know, personally.
But that goes back to what I was talking about earlier, that there was not a lot of superhero action from a team aspect in that, and that's what you expect from the Fantastic Four. If you go back to when was the first one that came out? 2005.
2005.
Yeah. So when you watch that one, the way they fight Dr. Doom, they do it as a team unit, and that's kind of what you wanted to see here, is them fight him off as a team. And they could have still done the scene where she had to exert herself or whatever.
Yeah,
but the other three should have been involved in that too.
I just feel like whoever, who wrote this movie? Let me see. The person who wrote the movie stories based on screenplays. A lot of people involved. You have Josh Friedman, Eric Pearson, Jeff Kaplan, Ian Springer. Yeah, so a combination of these people. I would say you have the right intentions for how you wanted the scene to play out, but if you're going to establish a narrative that the movie's entire basis, the entire concept is family, they need to fight as a family then, especially against Galactus. Like, Reed Richards, he's the smartest guy, doesn't need to be getting knocked out, at least that simple, that way. He was getting stretched out, just like my wife was during sex last night. Was getting pounded, honestly. Holy shit.
MSK, you get on a roll of doing the right way, and then you gotta hammer it home. And you gotta revert back to yourself.
Oh, the score! I feel like the score was very good.
Excellent.
The and I just want to agree with you when we did a Superman review. The Superman score was half and half. I feel like there was some really, and it wasn't just the score, like when you hear a sound. The actual song choices that James Gunn made were really bad. I didn't like punk rock edginess for Superman. I feel like that was kind of cringy and not a music you would listen to. But in this movie, I feel like the actual score was very good. The score was immaculate. I was like, damn, this is really good here. The moments in space were just incredible. Those were just damn. I was like, the moment where she was giving birth to the kid in space, that felt like something out of a sci-fi movie. You don't see her vagina, guys. You don't see that. You see like literally an umbilical cord, maybe technically kinda, and it's cut. That's all you really see, honestly.
But I think it worked the way they did it. It worked, and like you said, the score is fantastic. The score really enhanced the tone of the film because you've got this film that's going for this retro futuristic 60s vibe, and the score just matched perfectly with what they were trying to do. I thought this was one of the better scores in a Marvel movie that there's
long
been for
time. Yeah. So I know people are going to be like, are there mid-credit scenes? Okay, so this movie typically plays it into like how they've been before. There's usually a gag one, and there's usually a one that's take seriously. The gag one is at the very end, and I think that's what should be happening for MC movies going forward. The gag, funny joke play to the movie should be at the very end. The important mid-credit scene should be in the mid-credit. That's where the most important aspect of it should be. So I'll also give the movie credit on this too. So they beat Galactus. They're heroes. They obviously take the little baby, and these guys are struggling with a car seat. It's just the most adorable thing ever. If any parents ever had that, that's relatable to you.
Heck yes.
Then it goes 4 years later. So you're like, well, Franklin is older now. He is. He's about 5. He's about 4 years old. Vanessa Sue Stormer's teaching him, and she's being a mom, as they should. That's the best thing they can do in life. She leaves to get a book he likes to read. And then she notices something. She feels ominous. Then she starts exuding her powers. Then you see, we know it's not RDJ because it's usually a stunt double. They probably just wore this. You see Franklin interacting with Dr. Doom with the mask off. You don't see his face. You just see his mask in one hand, and he's having the kid touch his face. So maybe he is disfigured, because I heard a rumor that RDJ's Dr. Doom isn't disfigured, which would be stupid because that's why he wears a mask. I at least know that much, because I'm not that big a Fantastic Four body. I know why he wears the mask to a certain extent. I will say there was a nice little chilling moment for that mid-credit scene right there. Like the ominous feel of that scene was very much there. So I can pretty much tell the direction they're gonna go with Doomsday. I imagine, I'm just guessing here, guys. This is all prediction. Dr. Doom wants to use Franklin for a reason. Maybe it's to fix his face, or it's to potentially fix other worlds, actually, that may have been taken out by Galactus. Who knows? But we know Franklin is usually a catalyst for Dr. Doom's plans that he wants to enact in several comic books, at least some stuff I know. So they established that, and that was I thought that was a sort of the more better mid-credit scenes they've had, when he's just like, the audience I had was like, they're like, oh shit. There's like, oh, that's Dr. Doom. Like, they were like really into that scene. It was a very great directed scene. So after Thunderbolts ended and they had the Fantastic Four ship coming, I would imagine they're coming in to talk to the Avengers because Doom took Franklin.
Yeah.
I would assume he kidnaps Franklin there. I would assume, but I could be wrong, or maybe he does something to Franklin where he knocks him out for a little bit or just whatever. But I hope with Avengers Doomsday, we get our really, really destructive Dr. Doom. I want like the Dr. Doom that's afraid to kill anybody. But they said a lot of people are going to die. So, man, please kill off, She-Hulk. Kill that bitch off. No one gonna miss her. Marvel, no one's missing that stupid bitch. Good Lord.
We're not even going to see her again.
Oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds. Hey, I don't feel like him right now, but he did a good job of not letting her be in Deadpool Wolverine. So, that's where I feel like the MCU's headed. Honestly, you could kind of tell what they're going to do in Doomsday by watching this movie. I just couldn't imagine a world he doesn't kidnap Franklin right there, because Franklin is, they definitely established, very, very powerful, even as a 5-year-old kid. So,
Yeah,
what did you
and
think about
that makes sense.
Yeah,
No, that makes sense because, like you said, he's interacting there with Franklin at the end, and we already know how powerful he is. So, yeah, it would make sense because Doom's going to have some big plan or something on it on his mind, and
it is already
they
Jake.
established.
Yeah.
I like your idea that they're coming to Earth to talk to the Avengers to get help, because on their Earth they are the only superheroes. This would be an opportunity for them to reach out across the multiverse to find someone who could help them.
Yeah, and they talked about different Earths or different realities essentially in the movie.
Yes.
That's established too. They did establish Doctor Doom is there because they had Latveria in the scene where she's doing her, I forgot what she was doing, some sort of foundational get together or something like that. They established
and
Latveria
nobody's actually there in the seats from Latveria.
Yeah, nobody's there. Yep. But Vanessa Kirby did confirm. I was wrong. She did confirm that was RDJ in the cloak. It's just an uncredited cameo. It's like, okay, but they should have in that scene, because I know it's going to be in Doomsday. They should have, to really hone in that scene. I would have liked if we had just seen like Franklin being by himself playing with like a Game Boy or something, and then Doctor Doom just walk up to him, then end the scene. I would have loved that, but the way they did it was very, very, very good. I feel like the scene was very chill.
The way they did it was cool, but like I kind of like your idea there that he just kind of walks up. It'd be kind of cool if you had seen him walk up and then he picks up Franklin, and the camera's kind of like
like in the horror movies. Yeah,
and you see him holding up Franklin, and Franklin's just kind of looking at him. I think that would have been good. And maybe at that point you have Sue walk in, like you see her in the corner, kind of walk in and see that Doom has Franklin. That would have been cool.
There's another way I was thinking when I was watching the movie. It was like, maybe she's with him reading a book, and then you see him in the background a little bit. You do like the out of depth focus shot. You see him right there, but she doesn't know he's there, and he just walks up closer. Then it ends. There's other ways he could have did it, but I'll say they did do it a very good way to establish that. I was in that scene. I was like, okay, this guy's pretty fucking scary. This guy's about to maybe murder a kid, but he probably won't do that because they don't have balls for that.
You know what was cool about the end credit scenes for this and the end credit scene for Thunderbolts is that we actually had some end credit scenes that actually that are actually tied together that will actually matter in the future. Because for a while there, it seemed like Marvel was just throwing stuff, hoping to see what stuck against the wall. And this, we actually had something that tied together. So I've actually liked the last two Marvel films.
Last two end credit scenes? Yeah. And to be fair,
I will say the films and the end credit scenes, much better.
Two? Yeah.
Yeah, much better direction from Marvel. Are they perfect films? No.
But it feels like a step in the right direction.
Like these last two, they're not peak MCU. Let's be clear about that. In no way am I saying that Fantastic Four is like what it was at the height of the MCU. But I thought it was a very entertaining film. It was very stylish. It had a good family message at the end of the day. I enjoyed the scenes that they had together as a family. Again, I wanted some more action, but I did like some of the action in the movie.
A bit more family coordinated action would have been better.
Yeah. There you go. More family coordinated action. And overall, this was, I hesitate to say a step in the right direction, because
I thought Thunderbolts started that a little bit.
See, I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hesitating to say that they're moving in the right direction because I don't want to get burned. But when you look at Captain America: Brave New World, and then you look at Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, both of these are like clear steps up, and it's got me hoping that they're going in the right direction.
Yes, that was a reference to him. Yeah, he's the guy that's the diplomat from Latveria. When they showed Latveria, I automatically knew that was him. But I would see that's the thing is when it comes to the MCU. I mean, I'll say this: I have liked Spider-Man: No Way Home, Deadpool, Wolverine, Thunderbolts, and this one. I would probably have this one tied with No Way Home, and then I'd probably have Thunderbolts under it, and then Deadpool, Wolverine. because like you guys said you liked Guardians 3, so you probably have Guardians 3 in there. I think this is a step in the right direction. I did like crazy. I liked it for different reasons. Thunderbolts is just a dumb, fun popcorn movie. There's no real actual thought into it. The story's debatably not there, or if little, if at all, but it's very fun and entertaining. That's the thing. And that's all people want, though. Even if an MCU movie can't give you the best well-written story to exist, you can be entertaining. I'll say this. I really enjoyed watching it. I felt good. I was like, damn, this family dynamic is really good. There's the issues I have here and here, but I feel like overall, this is a movie that I would feel like they would have put out 2008 to 2019. This is a nice movie right here. The issue is like, is this going to be a streak of good MCU movies? Because we know with the Avengers films, as entertaining as they are, with even the last two, they have some really obscure, crazy, obscene story things they do. So the Russo brothers are coming back, and we know what they did in Infinity War. I like Infinity War, but they did some really bad creative choices in those movies. But they're entertaining, though. As long as you can balance out the entertainment factor with what they used to do, I feel like we got a good shot here.
You know what this felt like to me? This felt like a Phase 1 movie. Where
that's what I said.
Where the MCU was really just getting going, and this kind of felt like it was in that type of tone that we're being introduced to these characters, and they're going somewhere with this storyline, and it was just a lot of fun. Because other than the very first Iron Man, the other Phase 1 movies, except for Avengers, I mean, I'm not saying they were bad or anything like that, but they're not looked at as the peak level MCU. You know, Iron Man 2, a lot of people consider that a bad movie. I actually enjoyed it, but a lot of people consider that a bad movie. The first Thor, which I really liked, people don't consider it up in the top peak of the MCU. Captain America, the First Avenger, same thing.
At my list.
I enjoyed Captain America, the First Avenger, but a lot of people don't.
Very well.
Yeah, but a lot of people, same thing, don't consider that at the top level of the MCU. And so I kind of see this as kind of like that, where it's a very good introduction to these characters. And I thought it was good. If this is the type of movie that Phase 4 should have been, because you're having to reintroduce a bunch of new characters and establish a new storyline that's going to be long term. And this is the type of movie that Phase 4 should have been. And had they done that, I think we would have looked at Marvel a lot differently over the last few years.
Oh, I know Walter pointed this out when we're doing this movie review live. Yes, the world building was exceptional. Great.
Yes.
Yeah. None of this convoluted bullshit the other movies had. Just straightforward to the point, easy enough for the most casual viewer to understand. The other thing to really go over, the thing that you said, which is this should be the quality of movie I expect. Because everyone keeps saying, oh, well, you just expect Endgame every time. No, you shouldn't. And too far, you shouldn't expect it every time. But I expect, because my favorite MCU movies are like Iron Man, the event. So I'll use Avengers. That's more like team up film. So I'll use Avengers. You have Spider-Man No Way Home's in there. You have the first Guardians movie. That's in there. I like the first Thor movie. Captain America First Avenger. You have solid movies in there. Or sorry, Winter Soldier works very well. Civil War works very well. I want movies like Winter Soldier and Civil War. Very good. And you just enjoy them. I want that kind of feeling that the Russo brothers gave us with those two movies. And Iron Man 8, Winter Soldier, Civil War, that kind of level. I'm not going to... Why would the average person expect Endgame every single level? That's just ridiculous.
No, yeah, and I think that's where they went... Well, that's not the only place they went wrong with Phase 4 and 5, but that was a big part of what... that's a big part of what they did wrong with Phase 4 and 5. Phase 4 should have been like Phase 1. Let's build a whole new storyline. Let's introduce these new characters, especially because they had already killed off Iron Man. They aged Cap out, and it was very clear they were going in a different direction with some new characters. So that's fine. So develop those characters. Instead, they kept putting them in these cosmic level events and trying to make every film like peak MCU, and it wasn't going to be that because you had to start over. And that's fine to start over. We as the fan base would have understood this is not going to be Infinity War or Endgame. This is a new start. Let's build to that level again.
Yeah. Also, give them characters they care about. You know why Fantastic Four also, guys, made a lot of money like it did right now? Crazy just thought here. These are characters you like and enjoy. Yeah, so there's no like I was debating on seeing this. I am gonna see this. You see how that works though? For Thunderbolts, it went, you know what? I could miss this and maybe I won't miss shit because you don't care about those characters. There's a difference between liked characters and non-liked characters. Yes, the MCU kind of was built off characters that weren't traditionally household names, but that's not the MCU anymore. They have to kind of build you back with characters that you actually genuinely care about. And then later on, we can talk about doing maybe an Iron Fist movie or another random character that you guys barely know about. We'll talk about that later.
See, and I think that's what they were trying to do with Thunderbolts is that, okay, well, we've already introduced these characters, so now we can give them their own movie.
Yeah.
But the problem was they didn't develop them properly to begin with. If they had developed them properly to begin with, then we would have cared about those characters a lot more when it came to Thunderbolts. Or I shouldn't say we, because I actually cared about several of them. But
a lot of them were introduced.
But a lot of people didn't because they didn't know them.
Captain America: Brave New World. Like, if you look at a lot of that cast, it's either between Brave New World or Captain America. Brave New World, Falcon Winter Soldier, and Black Widow. And keep in mind, those Black Widow's not really liked by a lot of people, and it's talked about very badly. And Falcon Winter Soldier, I like the show, but a lot of people do not. So you have a bunch of characters that have come into a movie to team up, and it's like, well, do I even like these guys? Like, people didn't even like freaking like you said, Captain America: Brave New World earlier. People don't really like Anthony Mackie as Captain America. It's not going to work. You know, also, it's really hard to blame the director of that movie too, because it's like, damn, all these reshoots and all that stuff. It also felt like when it comes to this movie, the director, Matt Shackman, had a better idea of how to make this group work. I feel like the guy that directed Thunderbolts had a good idea too, but it also felt like Ghost was useless. You know, like there's always going to be that one character in group movies that's just completely useless. Silver Surfer in this movie, I think, is completely useless. You could literally take her out and you really wouldn't miss anything, really. She's just the messenger for him. I know that's a comic book thing, I understand, but like just the way it's utilized, it's like, do I give a shit if she exists, honestly? You know,
just to make a quick comment, you mentioned that people don't like Anthony Mackie as Captain America. People like Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson. The audience has not been a fan of Sam Wilson as Captain America. It's not even a problem with Anthony Mackie because we actually like him in the role of Sam Wilson. It's that comic book fans just have not been, or historically have not been, a fan of that mantle being passed to Sam Wilson.
Also, another thing, did you guys even know this is the start of Phase 6? Because Thunderbolts ended Phase 5. We're going to know that. The average person know that? Probably not. They probably lost track of the phases because the MCU did a very bad job of emphasizing this is where we're at right now, and this is where we need to get to. So the next movie after this one is Spider-Man Brand New Day, I'm pretty sure. That comes out January, February next year.
Yeah, July of 2026 is what it's showing right now.
That's not that bad. Summer movie blockbuster. That's definitely going to be a big hit for them. And then you have Avengers Doomsday, which is, you know, the same next year as well, but it's also going to be released, I think, at the end of the year. It's slated to be coming
because
out.
It was supposed to be a summer movie, and then they pushed it to the end of the year.
December 18th, 2026. Holy crap.
Which I actually think might work. Give it a December release. That could be kind of interesting.
A nice little Christmas bonus, maybe.
Well, if you look at some of the bigger films that have come out during the Christmas holidays, they've done pretty well. And you stick this one there, this is going to be that big Christmas blockbuster that people are going to want to go see during that time. Like this year, I'm sure it's going to be Avatar. I'm sure everybody's going to go out and see that. I don't think it'll make the $2 billion that the last two did.
Holy
it's not. I don't think it's going to make $2 billion that like the last two did. But I wouldn't be surprised if this still made over $1 billion this next Avatar film, because it's like it's become an event, and then it's right at that time of the year where you're looking for like a big event film. So I think that putting Doomsday there during that Christmas time, that could work really well.
I just hope, because given how the Russo brothers did Infinity War and Endgame, I hope they can deliver a good 2 more Avengers movies. Hopefully better written than the last 2, because those are great entertaining movies, but writing wise there's some holes in there. But Brand New Day, who's that director? Forgot. The Brand New Day's director is the director of Shang-Chi, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Daniel does. Oh, good Lord. Who knows? That's a coin toss.
You know
I
what?
didn't hate Shang-Chi,
As
but
long
it
as
was
it's well written, it might be okay. The problem with Shang-Chi was
yeah.
that if it had stuck to being a kung fu movie, basically,
Yeah.
a street level film, it would have been good. Instead, they
Mhm.
made it this big cosmic storyline, and I just don't think it worked very well the way it was done. Uh, I think that that's a case in which they tried to again make every film feel like it's Infinity War or Endgame. Didn't need to be because Shang-Chi was already going to get his cosmic level story that he would be involved in with the Avengers films later on. So let's introduce him as a street level character.
So, did you have anything else you wanted to say for the Fantastic Four first steps? Anything else that came as a highlight to you, or that's it?
You know, Galactus, I thought was fantastic. You
Mhm.
already mentioned that. I think he looked really, really good, much better than what we got in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Oh
Uh,
Lord.
Pretty much, the thing for me was I thought it was an entertaining film. I was really digging the vibe. To me, that was part of the highlight of this movie was the vibe that it was giving
Mhm.
off, and I really like that retro futuristic look and
Oh,
tone.
it looks very fun. Yeah. Mhm.
It reminded me of the show Fallout, specifically the flashback sequences
Mhm.
in Fallout, where it was kind of like the 60s, 70s there, but yet it what's it called? It still had a futuristic feel to it. That's what this reminded me of, and I liked it as far as that goes. Overall, I was pleased with the movie.
Yeah, I would say if you guys go to the theaters and watch this one, I basically I know I kind of don't really do this. I always do it like this. I say go watch movies in general because I feel like that is the best way you can form your own opinion. Don't always just watch your favorite content creators and take their word for it. No, you yourself watch it for yourself. Or people say, "Well, I don't got the money." That's not an excuse now because guys, we're on the internet. These movies come out in 1080p. These movies come out digitally in like 3 or 4 weeks. You can easily find them. I don't even want to hear excuses like that. There's no reason to not be able to form your own opinion. It's 2025. You guys have phones that are really strong. You have pieces that are really strong. Form your own opinions. Unless you just are a lazy fat piece of shit and you just want to be told things by the people, go ahead. You can be an NPC if you want. I'm not. I'd rather choose to watch things and form my own opinion. But outside of just shitting on you guys, because I fucking love doing that. So overall, good, enjoyable movie, very entertaining. Minus the things that I didn't like. You know, I felt like they could have been better. I feel like if those things that I liked were in the movie, that's kind of very biased. The things that I liked were in there would be better. I'll be honest, they would have been better. The movie would have been much stronger in the third act if those key things were attended to. But minus those things, it's a good movie. This
Yeah,
movie that I feel like feels part of phase 1 through 3. I understand why it wasn't releasing because Fox and rights and all that shit. But I do hope this is a streak of the MCU movies getting better. I like Thunderbolts for what it was. I did like this one. People are probably gonna ask me which one do I like more. I think you like this one more than Superman.
okay, yeah, I did like this more than Superman simply because I liked the story better. And
Mhm.
but as much as I disliked the story for Superman, and I was disappointed that James Gunn didn't rein in his humor just a little bit for the Superman
Yeah.
character, I already mentioned there were a lot of things that I liked about that movie, and there's a
Mhm.
lot to like in Superman. So, despite me overall being disappointed in the film, I am hopeful because the things that were there lead me to believe that comic book movies are maybe taking a turn. You look at Thunderbolts, again, the things I liked in Superman were really good. And then
Mhm.
you got the Fantastic Four. So I do think that there's some stuff that's moving in the right direction. I'm hesitant to say it because I just don't want to get burned. But
We're
yeah,
like a scorned
it
ex-wife.
does
You
kind of
won't hit me
look
again.
it does kind of look that way. But
Mhm.
then again, we still got some MCU TV shows that got to come out that they're obligated to release at this point. We still got Wonder Man that's supposed to come out, and then you've got that Eyes of Wakanda a show that's supposed to come out.
Mhm.
It's the animated show.
Oh, good lord.
So
More TV shows. How about I just take a fat no on those? I'm good.
I think Marvel's best bet going forward would be, and this is just my own opinion, 2 movies a year, maybe 1 show a year. and that's it. And the shows, I don't think they necessarily need to be standalone, but have them tie in very loosely to the greater MCU. So that way, if you don't watch the show, you haven't really missed anything.
I know Kevin Feige and even Bob Iger mentioned taking a less is more approach, especially Kevin Feige recently. I know we're going to cover this in future videos anyway. The TV one reads like there's going to be less TV and it's going to be definitely taking a different approach. Good, because those shows were not just bad, straight up might be some of the worst written television shows I've watched. And I'm not being hyperbolic about that. I think they're genuinely that bad. You watch, none of you are ever rewatching those. Don't even tell me you are. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch She-Hulk. Yeah, you sure are. You sure are gonna rewatch She-Hulk out of all things to watch. No way.
I thought The Acolyte had to have been the worst television show I've ever seen until I started watching a little bit of Ironheart. And I got through the first 2 episodes of Ironheart, and I was like, I don't know if I could power through this or not because it was bad.
And keep on, the TV shows have never been good. I keep on, like, this is the one people generally like as the bias. They like the one, but if you like 1 out of like 10 something, that's already bad in general. And if you look at just the structure of them and everything, it's just they don't know how to. It's several different things. They don't hire the right people that can actually tell superhero stories in television form, and they themselves do not know what they want to do with superheroes in television form. They just don't. And it's crazy that we're 5 years deep and they still don't know how to tell a TV show based off of superheroes they have.
You watch the only show they're going to do next year is going to be Daredevil season 2.
That'll be
the only one.
You're right. Yeah.
And the thing is that I liked the last 2 or 3 episodes of Daredevil season 1 better than the first few, and that, from my understanding, is when the writing team and everybody got kind of changed out. So I'm hoping that it's better. Now, I still don't think it was as good as the Netflix show, but that's such a high bar to hit. I don't even know. I mean, you could bring almost everybody back, and I still don't even know if you could hit it again. So yeah, but I did like those last few episodes. So hopefully season 2 will be better than season 1, but I did enjoy season 1. But I think that's going to be the only show they're going to do. I don't see them really diving into a lot of television here in the very near future.
I hope not, because to be fair, this is the thing we use in sports too, and esports. When you see like really, really bad matches between bad teams, we don't get anything out of watching that. We lose our life. We lose time in our life investing into that. And I thought to myself, you know what? After watching She-Hulk, I'd rather not want to go headfirst off a bridge, honestly. She-Hulk, guys, I literally wanted to go headfirst off a bridge. That show is trash. These shows don't get better. And it felt like, hey, they start kind of bad, and then they kind of get gradually better. You can see the improvement in each one. It's like, no, I'm starting off wanting to go headfirst off a bridge, and then contemplating, hey, is it better to get a rope and hang myself? And then maybe that be better. It doesn't get better. But outside of that, the Fantastic Four first steps, I just, like I said, barring my issues, Reed Richards, Pedro Pascal, please, if they ever do recast that guy, please do. Just think about it. Come on, Marvel. Just get rid of that guy. Bring back John Krasinski. I don't care if Emily won't be jealous of Vanessa Kirby. I don't care. Bring him back. And I mean, that was crazy because he was only brought in because of a fan casting, and then they killed him off, which is so crazy. It's like they brought him over and just gave him 1 movie. Crazy thing this franchise has been doing all these many years. But no, overall, enjoyable, good, family dynamic movie, entertaining, fun. The score is really good. Dialogue, world building, it's all there, barring my issues. And I think you guys will enjoy this movie if you go and watch it, actually. And especially if you're a parent, you'll love it even more. This is the most pro-life MCU movie, despite, people that are MCU shills probably wanting to abort their kids. So hopefully that's a nice slap to the face for them. But no, overall, Galactus. Man, best CGI I've had in a movie in a long time. All the CGI was fantastic. None of this shaky cam bullshit where it looks like he's not a ghost. He's not a cloud anymore. He's a real, actual sentient being.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks good. It looks great.
Good, enjoyable movie. So thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified. Oh my goodness. Sorry. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're going to sign out, guys. See you guys later. Goodbye. Peace. I don't know why my brain just stopped. That's the usual intro I rehearse every day. It's like my whole brain just went somewhere. I think I was thinking about porn or some shit. I don't fucking remember, honestly.
I'm sure it was.
No faith. Just I agree. Fantastic Four was great until the third act.
Agreed.
Yeah. We said that during the review. Yeah, just mainly didn't like Sue soloing Galactus at the end. Yeah. And that's the thing to expect with these superhero movies now. Maybe that might be. I should probably mention this in review, but I think that might be the thing going forward. The movie's going to be pretty much like 85% good, but there's going to be that other 10% that really just knocks it down. Like the thing with Sue Storm, technically, so it's like you did everything right up until that point. You just had to do that. It's like, why?
See,
like,
and the thing is like he said that it's soloing Galactus that was the problem. Like if she was still doing it and stuff, that was fine. And you seeing the other three, hitting him from the sides and also pushing him back and everything like that, then it would have looked cool because then you would have gotten that team dynamic because that's the whole point of the Fantastic Four when they're fighting. They function as a team.
Especially in the plot when they heavily imply this character is beyond not just anything in this universe, anything that potentially we see in the current main timeline everyone else exists in, It's like we know he's powerful, and it's like to be fair, I don't know Sue Storm's power levels like that. I mean, I don't, so I don't even know if there's I imagine there's variations of her that probably may be very, very powerful compared to the Sue Storm that I'm known to, but that's the thing that he needs to work on. Next Fantastic Four movie, if they take on because Doctor Doom's the main villain in these two movies.
But my understanding is that
maybe it's Ghost Rider they'll take on in the second movie. Maybe.
I mean, they say that for this next film, for Doomsday, that Reed Richards is supposed to be the main hero, kind of the leader of the Avengers and whatnot. At least that's what I was reading. That
goodness
gracious.
Yeah,
it's almost going to feel like a Fantastic Four movie in a way.
This won't matter for the review because I know a lot of people don't care about that. It's not in place of that. There's one thing I'll mention before we head out of here. I know you have like about 5 minutes left.
Yep.
When everyone's dang it, I missed out on mentioning it. It doesn't matter. It's canon. It's a canon thing because I mentioned it in my fucking vlog. It's canon now. When someone said there was outlets that straight up said Sue Storm was the leader.
Yeah, that wasn't the case. She was a world leader. She was not the leader of the Fantastic Four. They made it like she was the leader of the Fantastic Four.
Like some straight up girl boss, like Rey Skywalker. I think I know the outlets that said that shit. Because what's crazy is it wasn't like there was a scene in the movie where she was like that at all. There wasn't even I'll say this. She's the leader aspect they're saying because they're like, she's the leader. It's like, what movie? I need to know what movie did you watch, or did you just make up some bullshit? Because there's not even a scene where she straight up talks to him in a way where he's not the leader. That doesn't even exist. Like, I don't know. There's because there were people online that they were pointing out rumors that Vanessa Kirby is Sue Storm gonna lead the Fantastic Four, and then people were like, I'm done. We're too far. We don't even know that. We didn't even know she was gonna do that. Also, she didn't do that at all. Not even a single scene showed that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't there at all. That was kind of the whole, not exactly the same level, but kind of like the controversy that there was with Superman, that there was something that wasn't there. Well, this is just a political movie. This is all going to be woke and whatnot. No, it wasn't any of that. And they were trying to do that with the Fantastic Four. Sue's going to be the leader. She's clearly leading the Fantastic Four. No, she didn't. Reed was clearly the leader of the Fantastic Four. She was a world leader on the world stage, but when it came to the team dynamic, that was very much
like she didn't even lead. Richard. Like she didn't even lead anything. Like I outside of the thing that you just mentioned, from just watching it, I couldn't remember a single thing she led other than maybe leading the third act with taking down Galactus. But even that wouldn't be leading the team. She kind of did that out of like, hey, my baby's going to be taken, so I'm going to take you down kind of thing, Oh, that's hard. They probably just tied for me. I think the issues between them both kind of make them on the same level. That's just me.
Fantastic Four for me, but I also got to preface that by saying Superman, I had such high hopes for Superman, and I was very disappointed in the story. So for that dragged it down for me. And I really did want James Gunn to pull his humor back a little bit when it came to the Superman character. And like I was fine with the humor around him, but it was him personally. I just wanted a little bit different dialogue from the character. And then I really hated what they did with Superman's parents, both the biological and the Earth parents. So those things really dragged it down for me. But there was a lot to like in Superman. So I still have high hopes for the DC universe as a whole, because the things that I did like, I would like to see all those things in in other DC projects. I'm actually very excited to see what they do with lanterns.
Oh
And
yeah, Supergirl.
yeah,
I can't wait to watch her do the things that I want her to do in outer space. Can't wait for that movie. That'll about to be the best movie of the year. Holy shit!
well,
Also,
you're probably going to have to watch the parody version of that. You're not going to see that in the actual version.
goodness gracious, I just can't believe people said that she was going to be the leader. It's like, what are you talking about? What this could these rumors came out so many months before this movie ever came out. There's no way you would have known that. Even if you watched the trailers, there's no way you would have known she was going to be a leader. Or sorry, there was no implication from the trailers that she was going to be a leader.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. There was no girl bossness at all. There just wasn't. Unless you straight up are that crackhead induced, unless you did that much meth, maybe you're seeing shit that I'm not seeing. If you did that much meth, I actually commend you. That's messed up.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing we'll say, I'm disappointed in the not moving forward with the Authority. He said so I think, there was that movie he said where he had the script ready, but he just felt like they couldn't release it because he just wasn't confident. Either it was the Authority or was that Sergeant Rock movie. I'm pretty sure it was the Authority.
I have a feeling it was the Authority too.
Pretty sure, yeah. And keep in mind, that's not a movie you should be doing up front anyway. There should be kind of like, that should be a movie just later on when the universe is kind of like somewhat established.
The Authority might actually have been a better show since they're wanting to do shows. And then that last comment you just posted about the Dingus Den liking Superman better the second time around. To be fair, I do want to watch it again because I'm hearing a lot of people saying that they do like it better the second time. And again, I did like a lot of things in Superman. So now that my expectations are a little more in line with what the movie is and where this universe is going to be, I think I might like it better a second time. I do want to check it out a second time and see if that is the case.
Yep. So I'll ask you, man, is there anything you want to let the audience know about that you're going to be doing coming up this week?
Well, I'm hoping to, well, not hoping, I'm going to see The Naked Gun on Thursday.
Trailers for that don't look that bad. It looks very fun.
I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully I'll have a review out for that on Friday at some point. That's over on my main channel at Bob Loves Movies. We should have a discussion of the Fantastic Four and possibly Happy Gilmore 2 on Dad's Turn to Talk. We should have that video out hopefully Thursday. So go check those out.
Yep. And as you guys know, for myself, potentially later on tonight, when I get done doing some other things like getting some videos edited and getting other things done, I'll be potentially streaming League of Legends or Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And then Tuesday, I should have the show with Lapsed Comic Fan that we normally do. And if we do have that, we're going to be doing a comic book review on Absolute Flash #2. And we should be having a topic there as well. Cloud9 podcast with Chaz, Mr. Blanks, because we're not going to be able to do it Thursday this week, he said. And then on Wednesday, panel show with me, Gray, and Lunchbox Warren. Thursday, probably just stream playing League or something, because probably not going to have the Cloud9 podcast on Thursday. I'm have to make sure I check with Chaz about that. Friday, the show that I do with Lunchbox Warren. And then Saturday, probably, bang my wife. Who knows? So thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. We'll see you.